Welcome back to my channel. I'm Katerina, or Kat if you're new here, and in today's video we are going to be going over the 26 books I will adamantly read in 2026. They are a priority for me going into 2026. So grab your snacks, grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get into the 26 books that I must read in 2026. And this list is in no particular order. We have different genres from literary fiction, fantasy, dark academia, epic fantasy, cozy fantasy, classical literature, so many different books, so many different genres that I'm going to be dabbling in. And starting off a little bit heavy, a little bit dark, we have Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. I believe in my previous videos I have mentioned how Empire of the Vampire was one of my favorite. The way J. Kristoff writes is not only so enrapturing but so tragic as well. You never really can trust him in his writing, nor can you trust him with what he'll do with his characters, and I'm looking forward to being torn apart in Empire of the Damned. And then moving into another epic fantasy by the Brandon Sanderson himself, we have Well of Ascension. This is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy, or the Mistborn series. This is, I believe, part of the Cosmere universe. I just loved The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. It was wonderful. I loved Brandon Sanderson's writing. I love his characters. I do want to start his Stormlight Archive series. So to do that though, I need to get through this series first. And then another epic fantasy, technically I think it's an epic sci-fi series. It's one that I wanted to start. The book is not with me because my brother is currently reading it, and it is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I've heard so many wonderful things about Red Rising. I love that it's kind of like this trials, and obviously trials in space sound very interesting. So I'm ready to go into that series. I'm ready to get my heart broken because I've heard it is very dramatic. Then moving into a dark academia, it was a new release for 2025. It was one that I had planned to get to in 2025 but obviously did not get to, and that is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I've heard so many wonderful things about it. I have had a few friends that told me that I needed to pick it up. I liked this idea of not only an academic setting, but that also it potentially takes place in hell. Now, I don't know if hell is a metaphorical place when it comes to regards to this book, or if hell is an actual physical place. I am very excited to get back into that kind of academic study feeling. So excited to pick this up in 2026. Then continuing with another epic fantasy, we have The Burning God. This is also by R.F. Kuang. This is the second book to the Poppy War. I love the Poppy War. R.F. Kuang's writing is so amazing. It's so enrapturing. I might need to kind of like skim over the Poppy War again just to remember a few things because it has been a few years since I've read the Poppy War. Then for a fun YA romantasy, it's a very popular one, and that is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I've wanted to continue the Powerless trilogy, so I do plan on finishing it in 2026. We have Reckless here. Interested to see where it goes. Then the next two are classics. I've been really getting into classics lately. I enjoy reading classics, and the first one I'm hoping to pick up in 2026 is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I never picked up an actual Jane Austen novel. I have read a lot of her poetry and her short proses, but none of her actual books. So I am interested in picking up Pride and Prejudice, and then I think I'm actually going to watch the movie, specifically the one with Keira Knightley. And then another classic I'm hoping to pick up is Little Women. This one was recommended to me by a really good friend. She said, if you want to get into any classic, definitely go into Little Women. It's that story of sisterhood, friendship, and love, and that's just something that sounds very interesting to me. I love family dynamics. And then the next one on my list is a romance book. Believe it or not, I'm actually getting into romance. Just started dabbling in the romance world, and that I've actually found a few that have piqued my interest, and this one is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. If you had watched any of my Bookmas videos, you would know that I actually picked up two of B.K. Borison's books. I just love B.K. Borison's writing, and my friend actually recommended me to pick up First Time Caller if I enjoyed her other ones. What's really sounded interesting to me about this one was this idea of a little girl calling into a radio show host and saying, my mom needs a boyfriend. And then moving back into epic fantasy, we have by the famous Robin Hobb, Assassin's Apprentice. This is part of the Farseer trilogy. I believe this is like there's like 16 books in this entire universe, but this was one that was really interesting to me just because I like this idea of a young boy who's a bastard son, but he's taken in and raised in the shadows, and then he's also trained in the arts of being an assassin. So something that's definitely up my alley. I've had this book for a few years. I've wanted to get into Robin Hobb's work, and I think 2026 is that year. I don't know if you've noticed by now, a lot of the books that I'm picking are epic, high sci-fi, epic fantasy, very big books, as well as continuations of series or starting series. And the next one is a continuation of a duology, and it is one that I gave a 5-star to the first one, but it is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed Ring by Carissa Broadbent. This is the second book to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I love The Serpent of the Wings of Night. It was one of those hyped TikTok books that I didn't go in with high expectations thinking I wouldn't like it, and I came out loving it. I do need to continue with this. And then the next one, we're going back into more of a cozy fantasy. It is not released yet. It's actually not going to release until August 4th of 2026, and that is The Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer. This is the 4th book in the Assistant to the Villains series. I just need to continue with this. It has been such a fun series so far. And then in my list of 26 books for 2026, I do have a Second Chance book. This is one that I did read when it first came out and I didn't like it. And I don't know if the reason I didn't like it was because I wasn't into epic fantasy yet, or if I didn't like it because I didn't like the book. That is The City of Brass. This is by S.A. Chakraborty. This is part of the Davyabad trilogy. If you've not heard of it, it is a very popular fantasy trilogy. As I said, I read the first book when it came out and it was very hyped then and everyone loved it, and I went into it, and I think the problem was my tastes in reading was still focused on the need for certain things in books. I definitely think that if I would pick this up again, I will really enjoy it. So I am going to be giving The City of Brass a second chance in 2026. And then sticking once again with that fantasy element, we have What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. This is one that I picked up in one of my Bookmas videos, but I have loved this idea of this book, and I've said it in the past few videos. I have an obsession with Egyptian culture, civilization, history, and as I've said before, if I could go back, I would most likely become an Egyptian archaeologist. Moving into an actual literary fiction this time, away from fantasy for a second, we have Atmosphere. This is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have heard so many wonderful things about this book. I believe this was a Goodreads Choice Award winner for 2025. I have watched so many videos of people reading this book and bawling their eyes out, STEM related, as well as it's a STEM related in what my actual career is. I'm excited. Then back into the romance area, once again, another one by B.K. Borson, and it's not going to be releasing until I believe September, October of next year, and that's Grim Tidings. This is going to be the second book in the Ghost series. The first one was Good Spirits. I believe this one's going to be following our Ghost of Christmas Future. I don't know much besides that. There isn't a cover reveal yet. There isn't really a synopsis to it. All we know is that we're getting a second book. Then, taking a very big pivot turn, we have another dark academia book here. It is one that I've had in so many different TBRs that you're probably like, you're never going to read it, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is, yes, in like the 5th TBR or 7th TBR. I can't even tell you how many TBRs this book has been in. I keep putting it off. I don't know why. I've read more challenging books. We are gonna get to it. Then going back into lighthearted fantasy, one that is not yet released, and I think it releases in February, and that is The Book Witch by Meg Schaefer. This was one that just really excited me because I like this idea that there's these book witches that jump from book to book, protecting them from villainous things. That's all I can tell you because that's all I know. Then I have here The Grandest Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. The reason why I have this on the list is I always use Jennifer Lynn Barnes as my palate cleanser, as my getting out of a reading slump card, as my I don't know what to read, so I'm gonna pick up Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this next one's a very interesting one. This is I think it's a sci-fi apocalyptic book, and it is called Dungeon Crawler Carl. First of all, I do enjoy RPG kind of related books, so I do think that that's going to be interesting, but I liked this idea of the apocalypse happens and certain people are taken from their world and thrust into a intergalactic game where they're facing off against each other. There are currently 8 books, so we'll see how that goes, because that is a commitment. Backing it up into something more serious, we do have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is one that I've wanted to pick up. I believe it was on my winter TBR. I still want to get to it. I like this idea once again. When you have books within books and secret library organizations. And then the next 3 are all fairly big epic fantasies. Once again, Brandon Sanderson, and I don't know if I'm allowed to get to this one before I finish the Mistborn trilogy or if I'm able to get to it during it, but that is Warbreaker. This is a standalone. I think it still takes place in the Cosmere universe. This one is a story of 2 sisters who happen to be princesses. The God King, one of them, has to marry a lesser god and an immortal trying to undo the mistakes he made 100 years ago. Brandon Sanderson is such an amazing writer. I just want to continue with his works. Then we have Five Broken Blades by Mai Corland, another one that I've really wanted to get to. I've heard really great things about. I liked this idea of a bunch of people coming together to kill a king. Heist books are one of my favorite books to read about. And then getting it down into the last two books for my 26 books of 2026, we have The Jazad Heir. This is one that intrigued me based on the fact that it is Egyptian based and ancient Egyptian focused, with a magical element, with a character that's in hiding, with a high stakes situation, as well as a unique magical element and hidden identities. There are so many things about this book that really intrigued me, and I definitely want to pick it up for 2026. And then finally, wrapping up this entire list of epic fantasies, literary fictions, we are ending it with a romance, and that is The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. This one is not going to be released until sometime next year, but the reason why I wanted to pick this one up is it is giving the Secret Garden vibes, with these secret gardens, these magical gardens, and with a potential magical gardener that oversees all of them. I just think it's perfect to continue my romance journey with. Alright guys, so those are the 26 books that I'm hoping to read in 2026. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you took away maybe a few books for your own list. In the comments below, definitely let me know if there are any specific books that you're planning to read for 2026. I will see you guys in my next video, which will actually be in the new year. I'm planning to take a little time off so I can focus on the holiday season with my family. I will see you guys in my next video in the new year. Bye!